Thank you for joining me once more in a video about my 12 dimensionals. My name is Lene Christina Hansen and my writer's name is Lene. I write the story of Villa. It is a fantasy story. In this video we are going to talk about Aueria, and she is the wife of Shoro. You've met him in an earlier video, and she's also the mother of Vinkadur. So she's going to join us in a minute as an AI voice.
Good morning, Aueria. I am so glad you have time to visit me.
Hi, Lanien. Good morning to you too. Thank you for the invitation. I always have time for you, my dear. How are you?
Welcome. I am great, thanks. Please do make yourself at home. You are a character in my fantasy story about Villa.
Indeed. I am one of the 12 dimensionals from your fantasy story. Just like Villa and Gardu and my husband Shoro. So how do you see me?
I have always pictured you hiding your face under a hood and a blue cape. But as you can see in this illustration, I have tried to paint your face, or one of your faces, that is.
Yes, I can see that. You certainly have been very busy with all your paintings. It really is quite an undertaking, painting all of us 12 dimensionals.
Here I've painted you with your cape from behind. This is the moment where you and Shoro introduce your daughter Vinkadur to Villa. It's happening on page 12 in Villa number 1. How am I doing?
Well, I think that it is a fairly accurate description of me. But then again, you could also describe me as being green or brown. You have a wide range of options in my case, because it is like Shoro said last time. He is the water, and I am all the rest.
All the rest. Yes, that's right. That is how he described you. And that's a challenge, even to someone with my imagination. So I have to decide on some color.
I understand.
Do you, really? So I went for something that reminds me of Mother Earth.
Yes, I am pleased with your interpretation of me, Lanien.
Thank you, Aueria. So, now may I ask you to tell me something about yourself? How do you spend your days in my fantasy story? All the way in there in the 12th dimension.
There is much I cannot explain to you, but I can tell you about some of the things that I do. For instance, I am the one who decides who gets to be born as a human out in your dimension. This means that I am in charge of planning the birth of the 3 students in your story. I also plan the circumstances in which they grow up. I pick out what kind of a family they get to grow up in. And I have a say in what kind of desires and wishes the 3 young men carry around deep within them.
That's right. I have decided in my story that there should be a kind of an intelligence behind our human destiny. Someone who plans at least the most important events. And you represent that intelligence, Aueria.
I know. I like being me. I like the character that I am in your story, because I am so powerful. And I am also big, very big. After all, I am. All the rest, aren't I?
Yes, you are. And that is no small thing.
Would you like me to tell you a bit about the 3 young students of your story?
Yes, that would be nice, Aueria. Please go on.
George has already been introduced by my husband, of course.
That's right. Shoro talked about George in his own introductory video.
So here I am going to talk about the other 2. One is called Kadir, and the other is called Samlen.
Those 2 are not as plain as George, that's for sure.
You are so very right about that, Lanien. Samlen is a very cunning young man. He has charms and good looks. He knows just how to stir and bend everybody to serve his purpose.
He sure does. That's Samlen, all right. People like that can sometimes be very handy.
Indeed, they bring everyone together and give direction.
Yes, and that does not necessarily have to be a bad thing. Not at all.
No, I tend to use them to get things done in your dimension. They can speed things up a bit, if you know what I mean. Samlen is the leader of the pack. He is founding a big corporation that builds networking villages all over the world in your fantasy story. He is a very useful invention. That one. But of course you know that, Lanien.
I sure do. That is also why I have created Samlen. But what about Kadir?
Yes, that character is even more fun to play with. Kadir is a spoiled Muslim boy from a rich family who owns an oil company. In the beginning of your story, he gives everybody the impression of being a romantic clown who gets to tag along with Samlen and George. Just because of his good looks.
That's right. I chose this for a specific reason. His hidden agenda is so very controversial that he could never have gotten away with it by being upfront about it. From the get-go.
Kadir had to be served as a kind of side dish.
Exactly.
You saw that, and it was so very clever of you. Kadir is the chosen one. He gets to introduce the 13th source to mankind in your story. It symbolizes a renewable source of energy, which replaces all use of fossil fuels. This is going to revolutionize human civilization. The introduction of this new source of energy marks the beginning of a new area of peace for all of mankind.
Here I am painting a portrait of Gretchen. She is the girlfriend of George. Through all of history, these kinds of changes have often been paralleled with a lot of turbulence and conflict between various cultures and other groups of humans out here in the third dimension, where I just happen to be living together with my loved ones, and a whole lot of other people that I also care about. I am motivated to try to think of a way that the transition could happen without all of that conflict. That is the main purpose with my story, actually. As you can see here, I give all my human characters a shadow side. Because if you want to make a difference, you really must be able to look yourself in the mirror first.
Well, Lanien, you have a point. At least that is how I look at it.
Thank you, Aueria. By the way, before you leave, can you please remember to advise my viewers to subscribe?
I sure can. So to all you viewers, please remember to subscribe by clicking on that little button just outside and under this video. Thanks very much. Okay, Lanien, that's all for now. I must go. I have an appointment with my future son-in-law, Villa, and my daughter, Wingadur. It's on page 72 in chapter 5 of the first Villa novel.
Okay. Say hello to them for me. Bye-bye, Aueria.
I will. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone.
Oh yes, of course. Please remember to subscribe. Thank you very much.